Gentlemen, those are our last questions of the evening. Now we'll move on to the closing remarks. Please restrict your remarks to 5 minutes each, and we'll begin with Mr. Fimian. No, right?
I won the toss, right?
But you opened up, correct?
Yeah, so I go last at the end. That's how it usually works.
We had it, well, Debbie? Closings, right? That's how we did it the last one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well.
So you have 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything, folks. As a small businessman and one who's had that great privilege of living the American dream, which I'm so grateful to have been born in this country. I grew up in a family with 7 kids. There were 4 boys in 1 bedroom and 3 girls in another. I didn't know we were poor. I never went to bed hungry unless I was bad, and that happened every now and again. But Dad was career military, and we learned discipline and hard work in the family I grew up in. And those are the 2 most important things to getting a successful enterprise off the ground. Those of you who have your own businesses, you know you have to work countless hours. You got to work smart, but you got to put in the time. But you know, I don't know how to say it except that the United States is broke. The bank is empty, folks. It's time to realize what we're facing, okay? It's not going to be easy, what we're stepping into. This is the whole reason I decided to get into politics. I never thought I'd do it. Let me tell you, running a company is the funnest thing you can do in America, I think. I really like it a lot. But the bank is empty. Now look, I didn't do it. I wasn't part of the previous administration. But all I know is this mountain of money called Social Security is gone. It's gone. And the Highway Trust Fund is just one example. When all you care about is getting elected or re-elected, and you can spend somebody else's money to do it, you get what we have. And what do we have? All we have is debt. There's nothing left. And it'd be one thing if we were just spending our money. We're not even spending, as I said earlier, our kids' money. We're spending our grandkids' money. We're reaching into the future and taking from those who have no say in the matter. That's not right. Why did this happen? How did this happen? How could this happen? I have one answer. Well, look, listen. Okay, the 2 wars, Bush, I agree with you. But what I'm here to tell you is, folks, there's a lot of politicians that just cared about getting reelected. And they're willing to spend money that's not fairly theirs to do it. That's why we're here. We must realize soberly and maturely that we're here. It doesn't matter how we got here. And that we've got to get out of this mess we're in. Economic growth is the key. In fact, I'll mention this. This is 1,000,000 times smaller. Okay, 1,000,000 times less expensive and 1,000 times more powerful than the biggest computer on the earth in 1966. There's been a billion-fold increase in computing power relative to the dollar. In the next 20 years, there's going to be another billion-fold increase. Why is that relevant? Because in the next 20 years, you're going to have nanotechnology, which is the manipulation of matter at the molecular level. What that means is changes you can't imagine. If you think the steam engine changed America, you wait to what's coming. What this means is nothing short of unimaginable. But it will mean practical things, like solar panels that are paper thin, that do 2 things that can't be done today. They efficiently capture the sun's light and store it for long periods of time. If we're at the vanguard of this change, if we're inventing this, folks, we're going to be okay. Economic growth is the key to our success. The problem is China produces more honor students than we produce students. You don't need to figure out too far down the road where that takes you. But half the students in the graduate programs in the physical sciences, computer sciences, and engineering and American graduate programs are foreign nationals, almost all from China and India. And we have 65,000 H-1B visas, and April rolls around or whenever, we're full up. You got to go back and start your company in China or India. That's as dumb as a box of rocks. Folks, if you can add to the pie, we want you here. We want you starting your company. We will help you start your company here so that the next Microsoft, the next Intel, the next Oracle, whatever, is started here. We need to make that happen. This is not that hard. But we're blinded by intraction. Look, I'm a businessman. My best friend in all my years in business is a very liberal Democrat. But our lives were cast together in such a way that we had to work together. And in working together, we got to know each other. And we became very good friends. To this day, we're very good friends. But it's as a businessman, I'm willing to work with anyone who's willing to work with me, if they're going to work with me in good faith. What matters to me is my country. What matters to me is what's happening. And my kids. My kids are what got me off the couch. I refuse to sit by and watch this happen. So I'm willing to work with anybody to solve these problems. But folks, you got to ask yourself, either you think, as Jerry Connolly would have you think, gosh, Dave, that everything in America is fine and that life can go on as it always has, or you know as I do that it cannot and that it will not. Either you think that the $30,000 in debt stamped on every newborn is an unfortunate reality, or you know as I do that it is an unconscionable, immoral, and utterly devastating act that we may not be able to recover from. If you could, Congressman, I just have about 20 more seconds. Either you think that Mr. Connolly has any chance of solving the problems our nation faces, problems that I think he's exacerbated with these votes, or you know deep down in your gut that he doesn't, and that we need a new kind of leader in here. Look, I'm not going to Congress to complete my life. I'm going here to break China, and I mean that in a very responsible way. We need new leaders. If we want to change Congress, we've got to change our congressmen. Thank you, Congressman.
Not so fast. I have enjoyed representing this area for 16 years. And it isn't really about politicians always wanting to simply perpetuate themselves. It's about public service. It's about trying to make this a better community. That's how I got into politics. And I really think that's what this is all about. Elections are about choices. And the choice in this election isn't who can shout the loudest or who can vent the most anger. While there may be angry people, there might even be some here tonight. But it's about what are we going to do? I didn't create these deficits. All right, you probably believe they're death penalties too. When I was sworn into this job in January of 2009, we had seen in 8 brief years of the previous administration record deficit spending, and no one's hands were clean. But they took a $5.7 trillion projected surplus and turned it into a $6.4 trillion debt. And now they say they are concerned about it. 3 things did it. Unfunded wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the Bush tax cuts that were not paid for, and a new entitlement program entirely unpaid for. Those 3 things cost trillions of dollars in national debt, and we could have paid off the debt 2 years ago if we hadn't done it that way. Now all of a sudden, we're concerned about debt. The economy. We inherited the worst economy in 80 years. We were shedding jobs at the rate of 751,000 a month. Record foreclosures, bank failings, people losing their jobs left and right, hollowing out of whole communities. We decided the choice was let's do nothing, which was their choice, or actually let's see if we can't pump up this economy and try to get people back to work. Let's try to start to create private sector jobs again. Now, it's not enough. But we're not shedding 751,000 jobs anymore. We're actually net creating, for the 8th month in a row, private sector jobs. Stock market. The stock market has recovered a lot of its lost value. It was down around 6,000 points. Today it's a little over 11,000. Not good enough, but a lot better than what we inherited. These were painful decisions, not entirely popular. But my choice as your congressman was do nothing like they wanted, or try to save the economy from going into a Great Depression. And I'm proud of the fact I wouldn't let that happen for your sake. It's easy every 2 years to come and say, having done nothing in the community, elect me as your congressman because I know you're angry, and I'm going to tap into that anger. That isn't good enough. When we make our choice, we need to factor in other things. What have you done? What's been your track record? What's been your track record of delivering for our citizens? I'm proud of the fact that I helped deliver, by making investments, one of the highest performing school systems in the United States. I'm proud of the fact that I helped deliver the lowest crime rate of the top 100 jurisdictions in the United States. I'm proud of the fact that I helped deliver the best managed county in the United States out of 3,000, and I'm proud of the fact that we have and maintain a AAA bond rating, one of only 30 out of 3,000 counties in the United States. I'm proud of the fact that with partnering with business, we created 600,000 jobs in the last 30 years here in Fairfax County, and we are the economic model for the rest of the country, and we're creating more jobs as we speak. That's a good economic record. We want to replicate that at the national level, but you don't do it by treating all spending like it's all bad. Some spending is an investment. What do you think? A Republican president, Dwight D. Eisenhower, made the smart decision to invest in something called the interstate highway system. This crowd would call that today reckless spending. I call it one of the wisest investments we ever made, and the return on that investment is impossible to calculate. It transformed America for the better. So what we have to do is cut out the wasteful spending. We have to show fiscal discipline, but we also need to continue to make strategic investments so we can create jobs, we can have the infrastructure of the 21st century, and we can hand off to our kids a better community than we found it. That's what I've dedicated my public service to do, and with your help, I'll do it for another 2 years. Thank you so much.
Stay here. Yeah. Congressman Connolly, Mr. Fimian, on behalf of Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington, the Jewish Community Center of Northern Virginia, and 12 co-sponsoring synagogues and Jewish agencies, we thank you so much for taking time to be here tonight and sharing your vision for the next Congress. In turn, I'm going to hand the floor over to JCRC's Cookieheimer Blitz for some closing remarks. It's been my pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you very much for having me, gentlemen.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, what a great evening. And let's thank Scott and the whole ABC 7 team for their outstanding support here tonight. We'd also like to thank and recognize our friends from the Korean Community Service Center, Dr. Cho and Harold Payan, who are with us tonight. Thank you for being here. And especially to our candidates from the 11th Congressional District for being here, putting forth their ideas as well as their candidacies and their foray into public service. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Our
very much.
Jewish community greatly appreciates the efforts of our elected officials to be our voice in government to ensure that we are heard and fairly represented. Throughout the year, JCRC will continue to work with candidates and elected officials. On November 22nd, we will host state delegates and senators for a discussion of top platform issues and initiatives in the 2011 legislative session. On January 17th, we're going to focus on Israel advocacy with a series of top-notch workshops presented by JCRC in Rockville. Here on January 27th, we will give you an insider views of the issues we're going to be tracking in Richmond. And on February 1st, we will head down to the Capitol to meet with the governor, lieutenant governor, and our elected officials for our statewide Jewish Advocacy Day. Further details are on our website. In closing, thank you all for coming, and don't forget to vote on November 2nd.
They won't.
Good evening.
Thank you, folks.